Okay.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Girls for STEM. Also, this is First for Girls for STEM. So, today I'm so excited. We have a visitor, Faiza Sikanda. Thank you so much, Faiza, to have you. I really do appreciate. I know you are very busy going to school as well as internship and many more things. So, thank you so much. Again, guys, we have a visitor, we have a guest again here to discuss about STEM. So I have a question, Faiza. First question is I would like you to introduce yourself.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name's Faiza. I'm a rising junior studying mechanical engineering at Rutgers. Currently, I am a commercial engineering intern at Rockwell in the digital engineering team, and I'm really looking forward to this.
Wow, that's so exciting. You already have an internship, and I think we're going to discuss how you set yourself to have an internship at this, during your school career. Because sometimes people think it's not doable. Sometimes, they also don't know how to set themselves up for an internship.
Mhm.
So this is something we're going to discuss. I'm so excited to have you. So I have a question. So the other question I would like to ask you is, um, so what does STEM mean to you?
So, STEM, honestly, when I look at STEM, I kind of just focus on the engineering part, being an engineer. And I feel like engineering itself is you take what you learned in science and you make something out of it. Like you want to apply it to make it useful. Science is all about, I don't know what this is, but I'm going to explore and see what this means. And then engineering is, okay, the science people learned what it is, and we need to use that information to make it applicable and build something, make something, put that knowledge into use. And so I feel like that critical thinking, that I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to figure it out, that's what I enjoy about STEM. So I know that's more engineering focused, but like that's my specialty.
Wow, that's really interesting. And also, STEM unlocks the future economy. STEM is the one that makes us human beings, makes our lives better. STEM, gives us employment. First, it gives us skills to be able to live comfortably. I mean, STEM is everything. When I think about it, without STEM, I don't even think we can do things. Right now, I'm speaking to you. Guess what? It's science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. This is science, this is technology, internet, and it keeps on advancing and making it easier, softwares, things like that. So it's all STEM. We can look around, we can immediately we get outside, inside our houses, it's all STEM. Without STEM, it's really, really difficult. So, Pfizer, so let me say, how did you navigate your STEM career? Maybe if you can start from the beginning. How did it spark to you? How did you know you're going to do STEM? So can you show us, like, or explain your story, how it began?
So growing up, I'm sure you guys had so many different careers that you wanted to go into. And as a young girl, I was like, I'm good at math, I'm good at science, I like crafting, I like building things, I like puzzles and Legos. I'm not that. I definitely do have a feminine side. You can have both, trust me. So I started off, I was like, I want to be a doctor. And then I saw the amount of education that you had to get going to med school and stuff like that. So doctor, dentist, that kind of took the back seat. And then going into high school, I took my first coding class, and it
Yes.
was in Java. And I was like, you know what? After this, I'm being a software engineer. That's it. That's what I love. And when I saw the actual building part, and I was like, why would I spend my time coding all day? Instead, I could actually build something with my hands. So I kind of found that part rewarding. I'm also like into arts and crafts. So I felt like that part of my personality would also be fulfilled if I went into something more hands-on. Going in senior year, I was very book heavy. I was like, I need to get AP classes, I need to get hard classes, I need to get into a good college. And going into college, I was like, you know what? I need to get out of the books. Again, back
Yes.
to that hands-on experience. I went in, and I'm telling you, being a first-generation student, being women, like, it's hard because you don't really know what you're doing. You don't even know what engineering is about. You go in completely blind. But here's the key. Even if you don't know anything, that doesn't mean you can't do it. It means that you don't have the information, and you have to go out there and look for that information. Nobody's going to spoon feed you. That's like something that goes into life as well. You want a new house, you're going to have to do your own research. Yes, you can pay someone. I get that part. But like anything in life, you need to be a go-getter. You need to go out there. So I was like, yes, I'm still going to take classes during college. Like, how is that changing my experience at all? And then I saw all those labs, those facilities, those instruments. I was like, you know what? I need to get into a lab somehow. No clue, but I went on the internet. I spent like a night looking through the whole Rutgers website, seeing what I as a woman could do there. And then I came upon Douglas Residential College. They have so many programs for women. And from there, I was able to get into a lab. I got into the program. I got into my robotics lab. And that itself built my career from there. Because once you have that one lab experience, getting your foot in the door is the hardest part. You get that, you go for another lab, you're like, oh, I already have this experience. Whereas everybody else might not have that experience. So the first step is the hardest to get in, because you're like, I don't know anything, but I want to learn. So somebody who has experience and somebody who doesn't have experience, you kind of see, like, you would choose the person that has experience. So once you have that, I went into a 3D printing lab, and from there, material science lab. So got all that fun stuff in. I will say COVID was definitely a setback. I really wanted to go into a lab, build something. That was like my whole goal. And because of COVID, it became very software heavy. Towards the end, I was determined. I was like, I'm going to build something. I told the PhD student I was working with, he's like, okay, I'll print you parts and then you can build something. I picked up those parts, made my own project, made the poster, the scientific poster, made a video on it of presenting, because the symposium was virtual. And from there, you keep building on. I will say one more thing. Do go for those technical skills, but don't forget your people skills too. Like, there are hard skills and soft skills, and you can be the best engineer in the world, but if you can't communicate your ideas, I don't want to say this, but it's kind of useless. Because when you're going into a business, if you're going into industry and you believe in your idea, but you're not able to communicate it to non-technical people, they'll just be like, no, next. So you need to be able to talk to people. And that is a very important aspect of engineering, that people just like, oh, I just need to be smart. No, that's not all it takes.
That's really, really true. And you know what, Faiza, you just nailed it. I just made a video, I think on my channel. I was trying to tell my viewers, kids, students, to let them know that, you know what, you can't just go to class and come back home and you think you are a nerd or you know everything. You just go to class and go back. You need to network. You need to start preparing yourself for an internship. And I was telling them, I said, how do you prepare for an internship? I said, work in a lab, help professors. Sometimes professors work. They go to work, they do something else. So they might need help, maybe just preparing the reagents or preparing the samples before the professor comes to work on those things. And that's how you can learn. And also you are building your resume, because that means you are working. It's so funny that you just nailed it. Now, guys, this is the horse's mouth herself, who's going through this and who is actually doing it. She worked in the lab, trying to build her skills, trying to make sure that she can have a resume. And now I think she will go ahead and tell us now how she got into the internship, if you can share with us, so that the viewers know that it's not a one-time thing. It's a step-by-step growing. So if maybe you can start it from high school. How did you build your resume and your people person skills, because you're very, very, someone wants to talk to you, someone wants, like me, I was like, I want to talk to Faiza, so how did you do that?
I feel like it came from the mindset of I feel like every career does that in some way, shape, or form, but I was somebody who wanted to help people. I liked being around people. I didn't have a lot of like close friends, so I was just like friendly with everyone. I guess that's where I get kind of my easy to talk to aspect. But I will say getting an internship, it was hard, even for me. So the big thing I would say is you're not alone. Everyone's struggling. Find a community of women. I cannot stress this enough. When you're alone and you're sitting among so many guys and you have this imposter syndrome, like, I don't feel like I belong here. And when you go through that, it kind of like pushes you back every single time. You're like, no, because guys, I feel like are a little more assertive. I will
Yes.
not say that every man is the same, but there are men that are more assertive and they might cut you off. And in a friendly environment, they're just like, that's just how we talk. Guys are talking on top of each other and nobody says anything until one guy's like, guys, I don't understand anything, one at a time. So it's not like it's against you. It's just like that's how they are by nature. And don't take it personally. That happens.
Yes.
I do that too, but with females, you kind of have to be cautious because you don't want them to like feel hurt that, oh my God, I'm not being heard. They just cut me off. And I will say it depends on the setting as well. But the point is that you need to find people where you feel like you're heard. If you're in an engineering club where there's only women, and they're like, oh, this happened to me, and you just vent, you let it out, so you feel much more comfortable and you find solutions. That's why it's important to find a female mentor, because she has been through stuff that a male mentor will never experience. And it's nothing against male mentors, they're amazing too, but those female mentors will help you navigate those difficult social situations. In terms of building my resume for my internship, I didn't know. I will say all of us, even adults, are clueless. We're figuring it out on the go. So besides finding a community, try to build yourself outside of the classroom, like you mentioned before. That is definitely a big plus. But I asked my manager, I applied to more than 250 internships. Rejection, got a couple interviews. It was partly because of COVID. Companies didn't really know if they were even going to have interns because it's COVID, they can't come in. It's just not the same experience. Do you really want to show that picture of an industry where there's just completely dead? So companies were not sure. So if you didn't get one this year, like, nothing against you. It's been a roller coaster. Applied to more than 250. I asked my manager, like, what did you see in me that you accepted me? I got rejected
That's a good question.
times. And go to career fairs, go to events, go to everything your university has to offer. You learn. And he told me that I had three things. One, I had a decent technical background. Labs, clubs, wherever you get that technical skill, go ahead. Second, leadership. I was part of organizations where I was financial head, workshop coordinator. I was talking to people like this. So get those people skills, those leadership skills, managing people. So those two are big. And the third is the one that people don't really hear. It's commercial skills. You have to be able to sell yourself. And that is the hardest thing for introverts.
Yes.
You're like, it's kind of like you're showing off, but you don't want to come off as a show off, because then they're like, oh, this person is just like, I know everything. You don't want to sound like that. You want to sound like, I want to learn. As an intern, as a college student, you don't really know that much. And the best thing you can give is that learning, that growth aspect. I'm ready for the struggle. I have the technical skills. I went out and above and beyond to get those skills, even leadership ones. And like, I'm willing to put myself out there, even if I don't know. So they like that. I feel like that is the biggest thing you can do. And the second point was I did my homework. That is so important. People go into interviews not even knowing what the company does. That is so wrong. I went on the website and literally it was like a 2-minute thing. And I was like, they use this software. And I mentioned that software and he's like, wow. The manager was like, wow, I work in that with that particular software. So he was
Yes.
amazed that I actually did my homework. So those 4 things are big: leadership, technical, sales skill, and doing your homework of the company. So that was my ticket in. But
Wow.
do be patient with yourself. There were times where I applied and I was so exhausted that of all the rejections, I literally woke up to a couple of rejection emails, and it was just take a break. If that's what it takes to keep your sanity, take like winter break. I did not apply to a single internship. I was like, you know what, this is way too much. And when I decomposed, then I was back in the game again. So taking a break is not a bad thing. Quitting is. Keep trying.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, that's really, really good. So, guys, again, we're talking to Faiza Sikanda. She's a student, as well as she has an internship. So we are getting real good information from her, so that we can understand exactly how it is to set yourself for internship, and also to navigate through STEM. So, what are some of your challenges? Or before we go to that, so what do you actually do now as in internship, and where are you working? Just to give our viewers a little bit of that.
So I'll put it in the simplest way possible. Rockwell has machines that they build, that they sell to distributors. They work with them. And if you could, either a company could build that machine and see if it works, and that takes a lot of time and money. What if I'm able to build that same machine on an online platform and test it out to see if it actually works? Save so much money, save so much time. I take those machines and I build them on a virtual platform. They're kind of like digital twins. And those machines, I test things out. I try to make improvements. And those demos I create for them. And then they use that for commissioning. And from there, they decide whether that machine is good or not. And then they go forth with actually building it. Once you've tested out the machine on an online platform, then you go ahead and build it. So I'm kind of working on that design aspect.
Wow, that's very encouraging. Thank you so much for sharing that. So what are one of the challenges, so the viewers can tell, especially when you do interning and going to school, what are some of your challenges that you face?
Okay, so I've seen a lot of people do like part-time internships, but I do a full-time 40-hour work week. So you usually do it during the summers in between, and in between your college years. And so during the summer, my only focus is my internship. I overestimated myself. I will say I did spread myself thin with doing so many things at once. I feel like you need to focus on one thing at a time. And with that internship, I didn't want to take any courses because I wanted to focus on that internship. I wanted to put my best foot forward. An internship is like a long-term interview. The company sees who you are, and you get to see how the company really is from the inside. So you always want to put your best foot forward. I would recommend not taking a course, but if you're like on a grind, then go ahead. Don't take more than 2, I would say. But I would definitely say like focus on the internship. It's work experience. It's something different. You want to put your best foot forward.
Wow, that's interesting. So let's talk about, do you have a role model?
A role model?
Yes. When growing up, because they say kids need to have a role model, somebody they can look up to, somebody they can see themselves in. So for example, particularly myself, I didn't have a role model, so it was pretty much difficult to navigate through my STEM. So did you have a role model, or do you have a role model that you look up to and say, it may be somebody who's already in STEM, or your parents, or somebody, or maybe who really cultured you to actually go into STEM? Or do you have a role model?
Okay. My dad was my role model in terms of hardworking. Even my mom, I saw them work their everything off, put their blood and sweat, into building us to who we are. So work ethic wise, I wanted to give something back. I was like, you know what? Your parents go out of your way to do so much for you, and the least they expect you is to do good in school and make a career, be happy. So I feel like that's where that go-getter comes from. But in terms of STEM, as a Muslim woman, people are like, they're oppressed, they're this, they can't do that, and I wanted to prove them wrong. So I
Yes.
was like, yes, Muslim women can be engineers, doctors, lawyers, they can do anything they want. So that that perspective, that mindset that I got from society, I wanted to challenge that. I was like, I'm smart and I will do engineering to the best of my ability. And being a Muslim woman, I represent that fact. It's a big part of your identity. And I wanted
Correct.
to remove that stereotype of we can't do it. So that's where my motivation came from. I look for, there are warriors. If you look into the history of Muslim women, there are scholars and warriors. And I was like, if you look deep into that, you find role models. There are women that are like that. So
Yes.
I wouldn't say I have a specific role model when it came to engineering. I just wanted
Yes.
to challenge the idea of a woman just being a housewife. There's nothing wrong with that. It just has to be her choice.
I know. you know, Especially in the past years, I would say, I don't know, 100 years or whatever, women, including most cultures, even me, I come from Africa, women should be in the kitchen. Women should be doing women things. And I don't know what women things are. So they think like, we can't pursue these careers. And I think that is still happening, especially when you mentioned the point of, how you're trying to talk and they're still talking on top of you. And that still happens. So it's good. Can we just talk a little bit more about that? How do you push through, when the men are talking and then you want to put your point across? It's not that they're doing it deliberately, but it's unconsciously. So how do you push through that?
Okay. In a if people aren't listening to you, stop talking. If everybody's going crazy and talking over each other, if you feel disrespected, just stop talking. If
Yes.
it's like a more professional setting where you're presenting or something and somebody, a guy or a girl, somebody talks over you and interrupts you while you're talking, you're giving a presentation or something, then I think the best way to navigate that is keep talking. Because when you're saying something and somebody decides to interrupt and
Yes.
everybody's focus kind of is like, should I shift my focus to that or stay on her? Then when you keep talking, the other person stays quiet and they realize that they interrupted you. So I think use your best judgment. And at first, maybe you might not make the right decisions, but eventually with over time you'll get, okay, this is the time I need to talk, this is the time it's just best to stay quiet. Because if everyone's talking over each other, it's nothing personal. That's just they're excited, they're giving their ideas, they're having fun, and if you want to join in and do it, it's fine. But there are most men, I would like to believe, don't do it deliberately. But if you
Yes.
feel like they did do it deliberately, do not say it while you're presenting. I would say
Yeah.
if somebody steals your idea, you'd be like, what do I do? Be like, when the mic comes back to you, you're like, thank you for elaborating on my point, and then keep going. So it's like a nice subtle way
That's
to get your credit, And if the person did it deliberately, talk to them afterwards. Be like, hey, can I talk to you for a sec? And then you could really read whether they did it deliberately or not. And be like, this is what I think bothered me. Make it clear, communicate. Can you please not do that? And if they choose to do it again and again, that's a problem. But if they
yeah.
realize, be like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize, I'll be more mindful of that sometimes. So it kind of also depends on the person, but you need to keep a professional behavior with them as much as possible.
Yes, yes. And Pfizer, there's a question there. I don't know if you can read it. It says, Pfizer, do you have any products in mind that you want to launch or patent it? My viewers are asking, they're very intrigued by your profession? So they're asking.
I will say, being this early on in my career, I have no idea what I want to do. So I'm just like still exploring. I've explored a couple labs, and right now I would bluntly say no. I'm literally trying to build myself up. So I'm not sure about that yet. Thank you for
Yeah, exactly. And Faiza, she's still a student and she's also interning at the same time. And we have one more question, Faiza. I don't know if you can read that again.
Okay. So I want to correct you, being respectful. We don't pray 24 hours. I would say like we pray about an hour. I would say in total. It's just like divided throughout the day. And honestly, you need to find a company that like fits your lifestyle. I would go as far as tell your manager, hey, people take smoking breaks. Can I just take a prayer break for 15 minutes? My manager does not micromanage, and he's just like, get the work done at the end of the day. Here's your hours. So I don't really
Yes.
have that, but I feel like there's that communication aspect. Full-time internship, like I said, don't take any courses and you'll be fine. Religion wise, I feel like it's like working. When you work, you have to make out time for other things in your life. That includes religion, your hygiene, your food, and that's just like life. So time management, I guess. It's not that.
No, thank you so much, of course. So the other question I have, we are almost going to the end of the show, guys. If you have questions, ask. Pfizer is here. So what are your most challenging situations, especially during school time, in your school time, concerning school?
Mm-hmm. I will say this is like a personal thing. I don't know if everyone can relate to this, but I've been very book heavy, very build myself out my career. And this is what I've learned. There is more to life than your career. Your life should not revolve around your job. Your job is just one aspect. Getting that work-life balance is really important. Being a college student, you're like, okay, I took my courses. Now I need to do extracurriculars. Now I need to go into lab. I need to do this and I need to do that. So at that moment, I would say to manage your time well, take out time for yourself, your health. You're going to be eating all those processed food. So go to the gym, take out time for that. Like, it's just like the work-life balance is because it looks so nice on your resume. Oh my gosh, she's done all of that. But then when you really go into her life, you're like, or my life, I would be like, all she does is work, and that's not healthy. So that's something that I realized, even COVID, staying at home, you realize how much time you put into your work and how you don't take time for yourself as much as you would like to. So that work-life balance I did struggle with, and I'm getting better at it.
No, that's very true. Thank you so much. So one more question I would like to ask you. So what would you tell girls listening out there, and also girls that look like you? I want you to say something about encouraging them. Girls for STEM is very vicious on encouraging girls to pursue STEM. So I would like you to say something to those girls who think they can't, who don't know that they can.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Self-esteem is something that everyone deals with, like having low self-esteem. The best thing to do is find a community. When you see people around you that can relate to you, it's so much better. Secondly, who says you can't do it? Why is their opinion even valid? You can do whatever you put your mind to. It has nothing to do with you being a girl. As a matter of fact, we deal with different issues than men, and we deal with a lot in life, and we make it every single day. We make it work. A
Yes.
mother, you're telling me she's what do you call it? She's a housewife. She doesn't work. No. Being a housewife is full-time employment. That is a lot of hours that you put, and you do it without being paid. Like, we contribute so much to society. If you can bring another human being into this world. You could do anything like that. Being able to do that is a miracle. And as women, we are able to do that. So engineering, anything. There are women that were warriors, they were scholars, they were engineers, they're businesswomen. That like we have done everything. It's just that our society tends to teach us, our system tends to teach us all the accomplishment that men have made. If you look into your own history, you have done a lot. You just like your past, your ancestors, they've accomplished so much. And take out inspiration from them, find a community that supports you, that helps you. And if you can at that moment, never give up on yourself. If the world can say so many things, but internally, when you believe in yourself, and I'm not saying you're always going to be all jumpy and I believe in myself, you will doubt yourself, but you always have to pick yourself back up. Look in the mirror and see that amazing woman. Like 10 years from now, picture the woman you'll be. If you keep striving and struggling and fighting these people, you'll be proud of yourself. You'll be like, that young, amazing, compassionate, ambitious woman turned out to be so much. If you give up today, your future self will not be happy. So, keep the big picture in mind too.
Wow, that's really interesting. And, girls, they have to know also that there will be struggles. There will be, in every career where they go struggle. So it's not like, oh, it's just maybe in engineering. So it's the same struggles everyone goes through. We all do mathematics just like any other. We do science like any other, because most people think, oh, because it's science, mathematics, so it's going to be hard to pursue STEM. No, actually, it's just the normal thing that we do, and you can also do it. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Faiza. I'm so excited to have you. Hopefully, we can see you again on this show. I really do appreciate. Please, thank you so much. If you guys have any questions, leave them comments, leave them down there. If you're coming here for the first time, please don't forget to subscribe. And thank you so much, everybody. And cheers. Thank you, Faiza, for having you.